Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
Okay, kill him!
A wizard is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Okay, kill him!
Ooh, welcome to the Commander Smiths.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode 355. I was like, oh shit, it's a 354 on the top. 355. What do we got, Lowery? What do we got going on today? We got a couple things that we're doing, aren't we? A surprise thing that we didn't know.
Okay, happen. We had a surprise this morning with Secret Lair. There was one little one that came out that I don't think anybody really knew it was coming. And I don't really know. I mean, we'll show it. It's gorgeous, but I don't know. And you did the break point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We can talk about it at some point. We have the third round of the one drop tournament. And we will see who and what wins, and hopefully I got a couple left. I'll
tell you this. You do have some that move on. I'll say that. You have some that move on.
Some means at least two.
Yes, so you have at least two. We have 3 upsets, and the biggest blowout is a 93% of the vote, and the closest one is
this round already
60%. Wow. So the closest one, we didn't get any in the 50s, but we do have a 60%er in there. So these were for the most part really big blowouts across the board. And then what else do we got going? Oh, well, I guess we got Stump too. We got Stump in there.
We have Stump the Smith Savant, and then the main. So I guess the fourth but main thing is we're going to talk about basic lands and if you need them or not.
Here's a spoiler. You should use basics at least a little bit. We'll get to that a little bit later.
That's oh my
Great
gosh!
henge.
I can't believe you just spoiled the whole segment. I think that's the new
Great henge.
Great henge.
It's not. It can never be the great henge. That is the ultimate thing. All right, we're gonna do our top 10. Number 1 is great henge, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. So really quick before we get started, let's just get the tags out of the way. You guys can support us. First of all, if you're watching this right now, please hit that like button because we do have serial thumbs downers. I was going to say dumbs downers, but we're thumbs downers.
They're also dumb.
The dumbs downers. So
Dummy dumbs.
Hit that like button because it does help us counteract those thumbs downs. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so. 4 ways you guys can support us. You can either donate live. You guys can become a patron, which is the one we really want you to do. We want you to become part of the Discord. But you also can get proxies and all that stuff each month if you move up in the tiers on that. And then I already said donate live. Watch us live. That's the other thing. Watch us on YouTube. Or not even live. Just watch us on YouTube. That helps us out too. And then the last place is check out our Commander Smith store where we have mugs, metal tokens, and all that stuff. I think we're going to do a big revamp once we get to past the New Year. Just there's a lot of stuff going on the holiday. Oh, yeah. You got your red one. You found it. Or is that Kirsten's?
Yeah. No. That
one's yours. All right.
I don't. Kirsten didn't get one.
So these are freaking Yetis. So just so you know that thanks. Yeah, these are actually like legit Yetis here. Yes.
Can I get the fuck out of here?
What?
Comments?
Oh.
Bunch of dum-dums.
Get the
if we're just calling names, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but so Yetis, and I want to say, thanks to Quinn for getting us these. I mean, that's been a while that he's got it, but he's fucking hooking this up and all that. These are awesome. So you guys can pick these up. So that's the way you guys can support us. So there we go. We got it out of the way. Let's move on. Should we just hit up the tournament, get that kind of out of the way? Is there anything we want to talk about at all beforehand?
No.
We got four things to do, so I think we can just kind of get to it. So let's get over to this. And let's get over to this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Okay, so this is round 2. We're moving into round 3, which will be the, Elite 8 will be this next round. So like I mentioned before, we had 3 upsets in this one where a lower seed won, and then the closest we have is 60%, and the highest we had is 93%. Can you guess? What do you think the... Do you remember? You probably don't remember necessarily. Which ones
yeah, that's right. I have no idea what's in this tournament. Week to week, I am a goldfish. It just
okay. So, and remember, this is on. If you want to vote, this is on YouTube on our community tab. So all the voting is up, and this week's will be up on Wednesday, I believe. We'll get that up and going. So, okay, first matchup I know is the number 9 Swords to Plowshares going against number 8. Swan Song. So my Swords to Plowshares against your number 8 Swan Song. So this is the only one I know ahead.
And you
of
were
time.
saying you were saying that nothing was technically close. This had to be the closest matchup in my mind. So maybe the 60-40.
Where do you think it went? Who would it go to?
Who's it go to? And Swords probably.
Well, you're right about the outcome because it went to Swords, but it went to 84% went to Swords over Swan Song. So
Shit. That's a blowout.
Your Swan Song died. Okay, so then let's see if I can remember what the next one would be.
This is not good.
I think the next one is Shadow Spear. So my number 7 Shadow Spear against your number 10 Skull Clamp. Who do you think won that?
I'm guessing Shadow Spear wins.
What do you think?
I hate it, but
the percentage is.
I don't know, man. 70-30.
Hey, you got the exact percent right, but you got them wrong. You got your Skull Clamps moving on, buddy. Skull Clamp takes down Shadow Spear.
I am. Yes. Yes.
So you got one moving on there. We both have one moving on. Let's see if I can figure out what one would be the next matchup.
I got really lucky there.
The next ones I'm just gonna have to show you because I don't remember which one it's come next. So match number 6 is Dark Ritual and Commander's Plate. This was our closest matchup. So number 6 Dark Ritual takes down Commander's Plate with 60% of the vote. So this is our closest one.
I'm okay with that.
At one point, I know that Commander's Plate was ahead, and so then in the late voting, Dark Ritual took the lead.
It moved up. Yeah, it was my highest pick that I least liked. I was just overthinking it probably. But on to the
moving on to the next round. Yep.
If we can say that, I guess.
The next one is Vampiric Tutor against Mother of Runes. This was mine against mine. So number 5 Vampiric Tutor going against 21 Mother of Runes. Number 5 Vampiric Tutor moves on with 83% of the vote. Let's see, match 4. I wonder if I can figure this one out.
I think we figured that was going to happen.
I think the number 4 will be it's going to be your Monovault against my Mystic Remora. Number 13 and your number 4. So number 13 Mystic Remora, number 4 Monovault. Where do you think this one?
I think Monovault wins.
What do you think the percentage is?
70-30.
This one was really, really close, but it did not go in your favor. It went to Mystic Remora. Takes it down. Upset Central.
My goodness.
63% of the vote. So Mystic Remora moves on, and your second overall pick is done. Out. No more. Yes.
That's brutal. That is brutal.
So we move to the third. It's the last one. So that's this is both mine, I believe. Yeah, it was Esper Sentinel going against number 19 Legolas's Quick Reflexes. So number 3, Esper. Where do you think who won that one?
Esper Sentinel wins. That's a 90-30.
That is the
one.
biggest blowout. It went up. It was 93, but now it's 98% of the vote. So from when I looked at it before, it has gone up quite a bit more. So that was our biggest blowout
Just a crushing
of the tournament at this point. So Esper Sentinel is going to be a beast to deal with. Okay, so then we got your overall number 1 pick, which I debated even having this one as my number 1 pick, but Sensei's Divining Top, number 2 overall, went against... Oh, it's also yours, so that you have one moving on no matter what.
Yeah, I hate that.
But Vandal Blast... Oh, wait, was it? Yeah, Vandal Blast going against Sensei's Divining Top.
Top takes this.
Percent-wise.
80-20.
You're close. 84% of the votes go to Sensei. So Sensei's moves on. And then the last matchup is another one of mine against mine. So it is Burgeoning going against Birds of Paradise.
Oh, Pop takes this.
Percent.
70, no, it's 70-30 just because they're close.
Look at you. You're getting that 68% of the vote for Birds of Paradise. And AJ says Monovault got fish slapped.
Yeah, it did. It did. I am surprised.
You want to hear? You have one that is going to get to the final 4. I'll tell you that because you're going to be taking one of yours down because you got to battle against the same one. So
again,
yes, yeah, you do. So okay, on the number 1 side of the bracket, it is number 1 Birds of Paradise going against number 9 Swords of Plowshare. Where do you think that one's a tough one? Swords.
I'm gonna go Birds on that one.
I think so too. But I think one's gonna be really close.
Yeah.
And then your number 2 Sensei's Top is going against your number 10 overall Skull Clamp.
That's a really good matchup. Shit. I'm gonna hope for Top. I guess Top is what has the. I mean, they both have a decent chance. They're both really, really good cards. But I think Top takes that.
And then what would have been your number 4, but number 4 got eliminated by Mystic Remora. So it's Mystic Remora going against Dark Ritual. Ooh. Number 6, Dark Ritual going against number 13, Mystic Remora.
Fish can win that one.
That's going to be a brutal one. So on mine, it would be BOP, Sensei's Top, and Mystic, I think, at this point. Because I don't ever use Dark Ritual, and that's just a personal thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think Mystic Remora can take this one.
And we have, this is another one. I'm going to have one for sure going. I'm going to have at least 2 in the final 4. Because we have number 5, which is Vampiric Tutor, going against number 3, Esper Sentinel. Shit. That's a tough one, man, because you got Vampiric Tutor, go for anything, or you got freaking Esper Sentinel, who's blown out 81%, 98% the last 2 matchups. So that one, I don't know where I go with that one.
I'm gonna go Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, I mean,
off of the point of
we don't
Black
tutor.
has a lot of really good stuff, but White, like Esper Sentinel, is a top card for White.
Yeah,
and so like I think there's competition in Black. I mean. And Esper Sentinel is just an all-star. It's just so good in White.
Yeah.
That's where
I can see that. And I think personally we don't tutor, so that would be another reason why I wouldn't pick Vampiric Tutor.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does search for any answer. You know, any point of the game, if you're lacking the mana, you can get more land. If you need an answer to destroy something, it's the any card answer. So I don't know. That's gonna be tough. These are gonna be good. This is gonna be a good matchup this week. These are gonna be hard ones.
I believe so. They will be much closer than this week.
Yep, for sure. So again, Wednesday that should be up and ready to vote. So make sure you guys are checking out the community tab and get your votes in. I think let's hit up the Secret Lair next, and then we can get to the main topic. Okay, so let me hit the button for the Secret Lair. Where is it? Button. Oh, wait, I went past it. Secret Lair. There we go. It's a secret. Okay, so we got this Chaos Vault that kind of got spoiled today. I was worried. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, is it? I don't think it is spoiled at all.
What do you mean? This is it.
This isn't
This is part. Okay.
Chaos Vault because it says get notified. Did anybody get notified on it?
No. Like if you click on the tabs, see how this has Chaos Vault here. Let me move it over a little bit.
I mean,
so right here,
this is under there.
Yeah, you click Chaos Vault and it brings you into this. So this is the Chaos Vault. And
okay.
So well, now it's doing this shit. What are you doing? Get out of here! Stop it! You clicked on something.
Yeah, I mean it's not chaos. I don't get it.
From what I read is it was like, I don't know if it's like leftover stuff necessarily, but it's like
things that they cut
that they
from past,
right? And that they're gonna be unique in that they're not, but all of them are you. So that's why I'm like, why are you like dedicating this weird like, oh, because these are flips and all that? It's like you already have done flips. You've already done weird art. You've already had it really difficult to read. So I was like, what they're saying is they're trying to mimic, or not mimic, but take after Chaos Orb. So it's just chaotic is all it's supposed to be. Like, it doesn't make sense. But the thing is,
it's not chaotic. It's one thing.
Right. But I mean, it is cheaper. The 25
That's not chaos.
Yeah, it's $25. They are only allowing for one. I've reached my maximum, as you can see there. I can't put it in my cart. I didn't mean to put it in my cart. You can only buy one. You can't buy any more than that, unless you have different email stuff. But the thing you pointed out, what was the thing you pointed out on Discord that's so fucking true with this? That's
you can only buy one, and so shipping, you will be paying for shipping and taxes, so it puts you at that $40 mark of what it was.
It was $38.
So they could have said $40 free shipping.
Right.
Same thing.
Right.
But this looks better, as in $25, and then they don't have to, it's all a marketing tactic just to say free shipping, essentially.
Yeah. So
it's still $40.
$40. Yeah, let's say it's 25.
So
but
I would not buy this on its own, and you're forced to.
Right, that's what I did today. I was tempted to like throw other secret layers in there to get the free shipping, but I was like, I already have the quantities I want for those secret layers. I don't want to get more. So I guess what I'm gonna do personally is, you can use different emails. That's how you buy more than the whatever. Oop, I'm giving away a secret. I'm naughty. But what I'm gonna do is if when they come out with the next secret layer, which I would assume is probably coming up in the next couple weeks or whatever, or maybe they wait till after the holidays. But I would guess there's probably one in the next 2 weeks that they have coming out. If this is still available, I'll throw the one copy in with the other secret layer. I'm going to try
that is what I would do as well. Yeah. I agree.
I did buy one and paid the shipping because I was like, I at least want this copy because I think these are cool. Let's go over the cards here. Let me pull these up and then you can gonna go through these. So we got 4 cards here.
We have 4 cards. This one's Estrid's Invocation. It's very much a fairy tale style of art, and then on the back side it has all the words and what is going on with the card. But the front side it looks good. Yeah. I think it looks really good. I think in foil it'll look really good.
Yeah, these are only in
you
foil.
You only have a chance in foil. Yep.
And then
Estrid's Invocation, it's a copy enchantment that you can kind of like reset at upkeep. It's a good card. Got a reprint in the latest Modern Horizon.
Yeah, MH3.
Tanked the price.
Yep, it was over 15.
Right.
And then because of MH3, it killed it. So, but it's a good card. I didn't check the EDH rec decks, but I was looking at pricing, and since we're only doing 4 cards, I'll just kind of go through each one as we go. So this one, like I said, was at the most was $15 before the reprint. It's now down to 2. I think this one's gonna settle around $10, maybe a little bit more because it is a flip. So I think this one's pretty sweet. This isn't the big draw from this one, but this is the big draw right here. So this is a nice.
You do have a Steely Resolve in here, which is it's a green and a colorless. When it comes into play, name a creature type, and then those creatures gain Shroud. This is expensive, right?
Yeah. There is no, or the non-foils are 20, but this is an old ass card. I mean, foils are 50. We're not saying this is 50. Oh, wait, I did write the decks down. That first one was in 28,000 EDH rec decks. This is an 8,000 EDH rec decks. I think this one's going to settle around 30. So pretty much for the price of this drop, kind of, if you don't include the shipping, this one covers you. And I like this, the art, but it does remind me very much like Christmas because the mana symbols and stuff in there looks like it's whatchamacallit?
Holly.
Yeah. So it seems like that. But this is a good card. I mean, it protects your if you're playing tribal and you want to protect your stuff and you're not worrying about targeting it, this is a great card to have. So yeah, this is the big dog in the drop here. So I like I said, probably around $30 is where this one will settle at.
See that? Yeah.
I'm on.
Next one is going to load for a while, and then
it's Estrid. But let me see if I.
Yeah, it's a Planeswalker Estrid. It's a
there we go.
Again, good looking card. Estrid the Mask, legendary Planeswalker Estrid. And then just on the backside, it's the Mask one. It's it's green, white, blue. This is the least interesting one out of everything. It's hard to put in decks.
Yeah,
it's fine as the commander.
You built a deck around it, right? But you don't
I did.
Have that
it was
anymore.
tough. It was not. I much more enjoyed the other commander in the deck, which was the creatures with auras when they attack you draw a card type thing. So I like that a lot more.
Yeah, this one.
This is the ho hum of the deck.
Yeah, 3,000 decks as the commander, 3,500 as a card. So you're looking at 6,000, 6,500 decks. Value wise, $5. This is under $5.
Yeah.
It's $1, $2. This will be a little bit more. I bet you it gets to 10, but I'm just kind of going on the low end of stuff there. So yeah.
And this one is gorgeous.
Yeah,
but Tuvasa, the Sunlit, this is the one where once per turn, whenever you cast an enchantment, you get to draw a card, and it gets +1/+1 for stuff. Yeah. It's a cool card. It's a cool commander. I get it. I like it. And I think this one's
if you're in those colors and
gorgeous.
you're playing enchantments, this is fantastic. I have that.
Right.
And this is in my. Oh, it might have got cut eventually, but it was in the running for Tom Bombadil because it was playing, sagas and stuff like that. So yeah, it just getting that draw off of the enchantments and everything. But yeah, this 5,000 EDH rec decks for commander, 6,000 as a card. So that's a little bit more. So I've been about $10. It's a $5 card by itself, $4 or $5. So yeah, I think this one's getting to 10. So there's nothing crazy in this one. So this isn't one that you just want to go out and you got to go get it because whatever. I mean, it's been
I doubt it's gonna sell out real quick.
Yeah.
AJ, agree. Yeah, gorgeous but cheap.
Kind of like AJ.
Like you.
Okay, so Lowery.
I hope so.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Let me work it.
Do you think it's worth it?
If it was just $25, yes.
That's a good point.
But having to add in the shipping, no.
The price is wrong.
I agree.
So I think that is the trick. Just
Just
hope that it stays there, and then when a secret layer comes out in the next couple weeks, add it into that cart.
Yeah,
because it's probably around. Because it's, I don't get the chaos part. I don't.
Well, maybe that's what it is. It's like they didn't want to call this fluffer secret layer where it's like the stuff.
I don't think you want to
kinda...
use that word, but that's okay.
It's like the cards you kind of. It fluffs up the other secret layers. It's like just kind of like
getting those erect. Is that what we're doing here?
So when you're buying your other the main secret layers, you're like, oh well, I'll add that fluffer in, but they can't call it fluffer, so they call it chaos. It's like, oh, chaos, it's chaotic. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
so maybe they're just going to continually do
name.
this of having what fluffer would have been awesome. I would.
I don't know if fluffer would have been awesome.
I bet you AJ would have bought it. Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. I
would not take that bet. How about that?
AJ, have me win that bet. Have me beat Backstabber for you.
How dare you? How dare you? No.
Yeah.
I think it was. It's weird. I don't know what they're doing. What is other than?
I wish they'd have more explanation of what it is.
Right. Well, here's my thought is that they're trying to do something like if you're on the fence about the other stuff that hasn't sold out and it's still available, the deck is still available, the Ghostbusters stuff and a couple other things are available still. And if you're like on the fence and you're like, oh, I like this one, I'll pile this in so that I get the free shipping and everything's worth it.
That's a good
Like
point.
that there it still seems like it seems weird.
Okay, so
On its own.
this is gonna be like a good indication is you didn't buy the Commander deck, but you were on the fence about it at one point. You were like, I might buy it and blah 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 blah. And then when I mentioned, I was like, oh, it would have been nice if you had if I didn't have the Commander deck already bought, I would have done that here. Did this at any point go, oh, maybe I'll buy the Commander deck?
Yes,
It did.
it
Okay.
absolutely
It
did.
crossed
Like
your mind.
I went, whoa, I could do that now. I was thinking about it, but I mean, like at the same time, it's like Christmas. Like I don't want to be spending a ton of money on
Right.
this stuff right now.
Right.
Like they probably should have waited until like mid-January.
Yeah.
Just let sit. Like you're competing against a lot of like purchasing power
Yep.
of other things for other people, and so I don't know if this was the right thing. Maybe just releasing one to see how it goes. I just don't know if it's a good test time. I don't know. It seems weird. Feels weird. I don't like it.
Yep.
Stop it. Go away.
Stop it. All right. Okay, let's get out of here. And
It's gorgeous though. It's gorgeous.
It is. I don't think we need to be on any card preview stuff, so we're just going to kind of go back to the main menu. Okay, so main topic here. We're talking about basics, basic lands. Do we want to tell the story of when I used to only play non-basics?
You were playing Send Triplets back before the land rule change, where before you needed cards that what was the deal? What I don't even remember it at this point. You used to not be able to make the color of mana that
You could only make what your commander made.
right.
So then why was I playing? I think I was just playing non-basics because I was like, well, playing a 3-color deck. Why do I need basics in this deck? And I wasn't playing fetches.
Is
then.
that the only reason? Okay.
And at that point, I didn't have fetches. Like, you were the only one in our group that was playing fetches, you know? And so
Sure.
I think I was like, well, what's the point? I have dual lands. I have these lands. Let's just use all utility lands. Because if you, in theory, like you think about it, it's like, well, why ever play basics? Let's just take this out. If there weren't fetches, I don't think you would need to play. I think this could actually be a good argument of why play basics, you know, but I think because of fetches being able to, you need to get basics, or, you know, there's enough duels and stuff like that. And I'm kind of counting or going against what I'm saying because they keep making dual lands with it. But basics, what happened was I played only non-basics. And was it Wave of Vitriol? Is that what you played? Is that the right
I
card?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Lowry it was late game, and Lowry goes, Wave of Vitriol. And I go, wait, what's that card do? Destroy all non-basics, go search for basic lands. And I go, shit, because I couldn't go search for anything. And I was done. I was out of that game at that point. And from that point forward, all my decks changed to at least have a few basics in there. Basics, I guess for that reason alone is the reason why I play basics. I don't know if there wasn't any hate on non-basics, like destroying, I probably would play a lot less of them. But because those are out there and there's getting more and more of them, they're not all the time, but there's a few.
No, there's a good list of like you played back to basics and really messed up the game last time we played.
Yeah.
The Blood Moon has wrecked both of us in the past. You have the new one that turns things into islands. You have you know, Wave of Vitriol that isn't played as much, and From the Ashes isn't played as much, but Ruination just got printed in a secret layer, so that's going to be being played more. You got Price to Progress that deals a ton of damage. You just had like a cat from Bloomberg that comes down and does a Price of Progress thing too, like that Bloomborough. Like they are continuing non-basic land hate.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good thing. Like, you should be kind of punished, and it's a nice angle to go against that.
Harbinger of the Seas, yeah. That's
Harbinger of the Seas.
I like Binger.
You know, I think it's something that you should be at least semi cognizant of. And that's is that a good enough reason to make sure that you're running basics? How about that question?
There we go.
Like that angle.
Um,
Would you, just for the hate, would you be playing some basics in the deck?
Yes. I mean,
just because of the hate, because it wrecks you. It wrecks the
It
game if you're unable, if it just kills you. Or
you don't want in anything of your deck when you're building decks, you don't want something where if one thing. Ooh, that's a tasty beer. I'm drinking a cinnamon coffee shop assault vehicle from Lupulin. Cindy picked it up for me. The cinnamon is very cinnamony.
Okay, must be a holiday beer of some type.
Yeah, it's 10.5% alcohol. Woohoo! But yeah, so God, fuck. I did ADHD right there. ADD kind of.
Okay, how about this? I'll finish a little bit of
What
the
you're
idea that even though we're talking about hate and all that kind of stuff. Basic lands are the least messed with thing. It's hardest to remove. You don't even want to really remove them. There's nothing that really punishes you for having basic lands.
Right.
If that, like Ghost Quarter, you want to go get a basic land. There are a ton of cards that are cool with basic lands.
I remember what I was saying.
Okay. I was just chatting.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is you never want to have your deck where it's like, this is your linchpin that this is your kryptonite that if somebody does this, you're done and you can't play at all. Like, you want to have an out, you know what I'm saying? And if you put it on your land as your kryptonite, that's kind of a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody plays non-basic land hate and that completely takes you out of the game, I mean, I want to hit it, build a better deck. Where's my fucking button for that? I would just say build a better deck, but like, where's my button? Do you have it, Lowery? Do you have one?
No, I don't. But
you know what I'm saying? Like, basic land shouldn't be the thing that's taking you out of the game. You know, they're taking it out of the game. Like, that should be, well, if you're, if you're an artifact deck and they play artifact hate, you get it, but you don't strictly just do artifacts. You have protection or something like that, but having it so that it's your land base that takes you out of the game can be really brutal, you know.
And that was going to be my example as well. If you are in a very heavy artifact deck, even though I get that the artifact lands really give you a boost, but if somebody has a Vandal Blast, not only does it wipe your board, it's going to hurt your mana base as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I don't add in artifact lands into my artifact decks, even though they create a lot more synergies.
Oh, you don't? I do.
No, but that's my point is that you get wrecked. Like, losing 3 to 4 land hurts.
Yeah.
You know, or 2 or whatever. Like, getting set back on your land along with getting your board wiped.
But then when
trouble.
Okay, I don't want to get on this topic, but then when do you use your artifact lands if you're not using an artifact?
I almost don't ever. So unless, at this point I don't. I'm fine with like Dark Steel.
That's the only because it's indestructible. That's the only place that you can play the artifact lands, and you're like, no, thank you. Synergy.
No, thank you. I agree. Well, how about
what you're saying,
even though you could do the like Trinket Mage stuff, like I'd be okay with that if you're like kind of. I think there's a big difference between really into artifacts and like a side project artifact deck. So like, if a Layla is a split artifact and enchantment deck, I think you can run some artifact lands in there, like to create more synergies and stuff like that.
So like my Akiri deck is very low CMC and is very based on how many artifacts. And so that's why that one's like, hey, let's play as many artifacts as you can.
But if somebody wipes your board of artifacts, you still have your commander. You still have cards that are
And
going to get
it's,
you there.
it's a treasure deck too. So it's like,
Right.
I'm going to be fine if you wipe my lands. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Right. So, but if you are, I don't know what a good example of an artifact deck would be right now, but doesn't matter. Do you get my point though? Like if an artifact wipe kills your game, then I would not run. Like I'd be happier running basics if that's bringing it back to the point. And that's why basics are good. Moving on to another like thought too is a lot of ramp looks for basics.
Right.
So you got your
Kadama's
what's
Reach,
the
all the
animist? Sort of the animist.
Oh yeah.
Sort of Hearth and Home. You got a lot of the artifact ramp that if it goes and gets a land, it's basic.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of the white land ramp, not all of it, but a lot of it wants you to go get a basic plains. So, Knight of the White Orchid allows you to get any plains, but Loyal Warhound, basic plains.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of, again, not all of the elves, but most of the elves have you go get a basic forest or a basic land.
Right.
Not necessarily a forest. That's why Wood Elves is so good, because it gets lets you go get a forest.
Yeah. Which is really
so
nice.
And like there's a big difference, there's a big reason why 3 Visits, Nature's Lore, and Farseek are so good compared to the one Rampant
Kadama's
Growth.
Reach. Yeah, where you're just getting basic lands. Yep.
And so if you certain map really wants you to be playing enough basics, and that in itself, that is why that would be another one reason why I run basics, that I have good, efficient, solid ramp.
Yeah. I'm getting you very glitchy.
So that is where I would be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's been the whole night. It was glitchy. You're a glitchy kind of night. There was another thing I was kind of, when I was thinking about things, is like, I will play more basics, like where you're talking about with the Farseeks and all that stuff. If you're doing a lot of ramp stuff, you might run out of getting your duels and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're playing a lot, and that's what you do very well, a very good job of that when you build your decks. You ramp out really well. And so I've been doing that a little bit more than I normally am used to. I think because I've been playing green a little bit more than I'm used to. I'm like, red, what the fuck? Where's my red decks? Well, actually, Storm has red in it, so I'm good there. But I'm building Black Panther, and there's a shit ton of the ramp I'm using is, yes, I'm going to get 4 so I can get my dual lands, but there's a lot of, the Kadama's Reach and the, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm going to run out of those dual lands, because I really only play the big duels, Scryland duels, Shocklands are my 3 that if I'm in a 2-color deck, those are the only 3 dual lands I go after. I don't like because I don't want to get the cycling one in my hand. I don't want to have like all the other stipulations. And so those are the 3 I play.
Oh, you're talking about fetchable?
Yeah, lands? Fetch lands. Yeah. So there's a good chance, because I'm playing with a minimum of 5 fetch lands, if not more. And then I'm playing ramp cards where it's like, if I play those, those other ramp cards, there isn't going to be those, most likely they're already going to be on the battlefield if I haven't drawn them or got them with fetches or whatever. So you need to have some other backups. And so if you're doing a good job of ramping, which you should, like, I hate to say it, Lowry's right. Like, if it feels really good,
it's fine
when you ramp really early, and like it doesn't feel like you're doing anything, but man, you could do everything later. Like, you just, when things get wiped out, you have, as long as you're not like dumping your hand for fetching and ramping, if you're, drawing cards at the same time and doing all that stuff, it feels really nice late game, because you have so much more than everybody else. And so I have that been happening a lot more lately, but you need to have that balance. If you're going to run out of those fetches, and like I said, I don't like, or fetchable lands, I don't like more than those 3 really, or the triumphs. So those are really the 4 of the duels that I will play. And then, it depends on the color. Like, I don't know, do you have a number? Because I did write down numbers for each color, how many basics I typically will play. And it just happens that way. And this is pretty much where I'm at with my numbers of.
I'll let you do yours. I don't think
like,
I have a specific number. I just go with what the amount of colors I have in there is what matters.
So I think what I typically do is I go, boom, I'm going to try to grab as many as the utility lands that work with that deck, what I want to use, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then once I get to that, the main guys in there, then I'm like, okay, now let's see what we can fit in with basics. If it's a 1-color deck, I'm actually close to like 10 plus. I know I play, that's probably the higher one for 1 color. I probably could go a lot less, but 1 colors, I typically that's my highest. 10 to 14 is what I put down. My 2 color, I kind of try to balance it. Like if I'm doing 2 color, I'm like, oh, I'm going to play 6 and 6 or 5 and 5. So it's normally between that 10 to 12 range. 3 colors, 9 to 12, because I'll either go 3-3-3 or 4-4-4. And then, I will shift that. Like if, for example, the Black Panther deck is a very high, because it's the heir apparent. There's a lot more white in the deck. So it is a 60-40 split with that. That's a 2 color.
Skewed.
Yep. 4 color, I go 12. So it's what? 3-3-3-3-3. And then 5 color is always just 2-2-2-2-2. It might be a little higher sometimes, but typically because you're trying to fix your mono better. So you're playing all the duels. You run out of space for basics. That's the part where I have the most trouble is in 5 color, 4 and 5 color, because you're trying to make it so that you don't screw yourself. But you should still fit them in there. Like that's the thing is in that 5 color deck, you'd be like, well, I'll just play all. And I'm surprised you remember that was send triplets, because I would have thought I was playing a 5 color deck if I didn't have any. No. But I think that's what I was doing was every single deck. I was like, why the fuck would I play basics when you got non-basics utility lands? It doesn't make any sense. But
and I'm in hindsight, I'm wondering if the rule had just changed and that's why you built send triplets. Like, oh, I can play City of Brass and cast whatever I want now.
That might be it. That
could be the reason too. So what you just did was how I thought you were saying, like green decks. I don't play a lot of, but what you were doing was colors. So the amount of colors, So for me, if it's 1 color, I'm probably in between 10 and 15. 2 colors, I'm probably around 10 to 12. I'll either do 5 or 6. I want to say the Wolverine deck I made is down to 8. And then Captain America, which is 3 colors, is just, I think I'm down to 6.
Wow.
I normally like to go 3-3-3, and this one's 2-2-2.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of artifact synergized lands. So like I wanted to fit them in versus basics. And that if there's something that I want to fit in beyond what I normally do, like that's when I will cut basics. But yeah, what you were doing is basically there. Generally, I think I try and run about 9 in a 3 color, 8, at least 8 in a 4 color. That's been a long time since I built a 4 color. And then 5 color, last one I had was probably Kenrith. And I want to be around 10 to 15, either 2 or 3. Sometimes I mix with the levels. Like the Kenrith deck was really, really light on red. And so I think I only had 1 red basic in there.
Okay.
And then I had more in blue and green. I think it was more of a green white deck.
Yeah.
And so I, went heavy on those, like maybe 4. But that's generally, like a general rule is I start out with 3, and then if I have to cut, I cut down for 3 color decks, which I mainly make. So it's plus or minus 10. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. We are in the pretty much the same range. Like everything you said was the exact similar range is what I have for each color there. But yeah, and the thing is like as long as you have the other part, like fetches are very, 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 very important. And
And I guess here's the other thing too is I force myself to run basics because I forced myself to run Prismatic Vista and Fabled Passage. And
Oh.
I was running Ash Barrens a lot. Now I've switched over.
Why do you force
Modern
yourself?
Horizons came out with cycle basic fetches, if you know what I mean. They can tap for a colorless, you can tap them sack and go get 1 of 3 of a color, or you can pay 3 of the one color.
Oh, yeah.
None of that makes sense. And then cycle it to draw a card. So I've replaced Ash Barrens with those in my 3 color decks, and I've liked them.
How come you were forcing yourself to play Fabled and Prismatic? I have been putting Prismatic, but I don't typically play Fabled.
I force myself because that it makes me go and get basics.
Okay, instead of doing
Because I get
duels.
greedy with my fetches.
Yeah.
So like if I got a fetch, I'm gonna go get a duel. So I allow the randomness.
Yeah,
to
but
force
with
me
the
to get
surveil
basics.
lands, man, I'm telling you, the surveil
For
lands
sure.
are a
I know.
fucking game changer. Those
I love them.
they're
Absolutely.
in every single deck. It is like I get that more, and I know we've talked about the surveil lands a lot this year, but it is the land I get more often than anything because it is typically I have a fetch in my hand when I start. You know, that's a lot of times there's a good chance there's one in my hand, and if I don't have a 1-drop, that's what I'm getting, and it's so much better. I hate to say it, than it's not better than Scry necessarily. You know, if Scry
But the
was
fetch
fetchable,
ability
yeah,
is
yeah.
so much better.
Oh, it's so good
together for sure.
So good. So
I agree. But that's the break that I make sure that I'm putting in to make sure that I'm getting fetches or getting basics. Yeah. So I do that on purpose to make sure I'm not getting super greedy and not getting blown out. So that's absolutely why I do it.
You make it so you're not as greedy.
But that gives me 3 real fetches and 3 fetches for basics. And
Okay.
so I do that split essentially.
Yeah. Somebody, what a RoboCop say? Surveil lands or a fetch to get 1 will sometimes determine if I keep a hand or not. Yeah, that's a good point. Like that's the thing is like, I love the surveil lands, the dumping them. Like,
yeah,
it's just fantastic to have those in there.
So, what are some other reasons? Are there any other parts in your note that are like, this is why I run basics?
No, I mean the big thing was that hurt me when you
aesthetically like the new.
Well, I guess that's one thing. I'm a basic bitch because I love the basic lands. I love going after those, and like that's the thing I will.
Pumpkin spice.
That's why I will spend money on it basic lands more than I will on a lot of cards. I will try to get foils of whatever. I want the basic lands because that's my thing that I'll spend the money on. Everything else is like proxied after I buy it, whatever. But basics, like your wave of vitriol is what kind of ruined me with it. But the thing is like,
it's called trauma.
It is. But the thing is like having the basics it's not a hindrance, man. Like that's the thing. If people are like, oh, well, basics, you could just have it all, utility lands. And I guess we have a benefit of having the duels, like having that as our access and stuff. So that's easier. But there's so many different.
But what you just said was really strange too. If people didn't catch it, it's when you run fetches and better lands, you can run basics.
Yeah.
It's easier to run basics when you have a better mana base.
Yeah.
And because also basics make a better mana base. It's not a hindrance when everything else is good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's completely true. Like the thing is like, I mean, what did you just say? You play typically what, six fetches, fetchable things?
Right. Yep.
And
I mean, you could do more.
Right. But the thing is that sets up what you need to do with your hand typically. Like,
yeah,
that amount of fetches, because I'm around that 5 and then maybe having a 6-1 with Prismatic Vista. Like I'm doing the 5. Doesn't matter if I'm in 1, 2, 5, whatever colors. It's typically around 5. That first turn or second turn that I use the fetch, I'm getting it so that I'm fixed with what's in my hand. And then after that, it's like, you really just, it's normally just 1 or 2 colors that you're like, oh, I need another blue, oh, well, now I get that fetch. I get to get that blue. I have a blue basic in my hand and I have a white in my hand, but I'm missing that extra color. Oh, my hand is more on the white side. So let's get a whatever. Just being able to get one of those be a dual and then the others being basics is totally fine. Like that's, so it's almost like we're doing an episode on like, hey, really get fetches and get good duels. But it does. Like if you have a good base, and I'm curious if we ever did that, if we just like eliminated, I wouldn't say fetches, because I think fetches just always have to kind of be there. Like even if let's say we take
Getting rid of fetches makes a mana base way worse.
Yes.
Because I was trying to cut back on them for a little bit in a couple decks, and I was like, I can't play this. It was really weird to think of, because it was just, changing around, you're talking about 3 lands. I think I was still keeping the basics and getting rid of the fetches, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like this one bit. And then I went back.
That's part of the game planning of it's really kind of important in those first few turns. Like really turns 1, 2, and 3 are very important on figuring out which ones you're going to get at that point. It's like, it doesn't seem like it's that important, but really trying to be like, okay, this is what's in my hand. If I go get this land, I can have, like, there's a difference of like, if let's say you didn't have the surveil lands, let's say you had a shock and a duel. Well, if you can't, I know this is stupid. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, that's basic knowledge. But if you can't do anything on your turn 1, when you go to fetch, get something that comes into play tapped. Why would you go get something that doesn't come into play? Like save your actual good dual land for later, or your basic whatever. Get the things right. Like planning things out like that. Get the triome, get all that stuff. Those first few turns are kind of more important than you realize. Like especially with the surveil lands being in a part of the arsenal now, it's really changed it where that's what I was saying. It's like I'd say 75% of the time, the first thing I fetch for is a surveil land, if not more. Because I don't have a lot of 1-drops a lot of times. I'm probably in the 4 to 5 range, Soul Ring, maybe a Birds of Paradise, Sensei's Top. There isn't a lot that I need in that first turn. So a lot of times that first turn is going to get that surveil land and kind of setting up to see what I want next. But anyway, now we're not talking about basics. It's just,
So,
let's
but like, if we're talking about it, like you run basics to avoid any sort of hate that's out there. You run basics to make sure that your ramp packages when you're going and getting lands works. That you're not, it's really, really like nobody's going to strip mine your basics.
Right.
Unless it's like a strip lock. They're getting rid of all of your lands.
Right.
Like that, then it doesn't matter what they are. And then like they look good, they change them a lot, which I kind of appreciate at this point, a few years after our conversation. I can at least appreciate it now. And
so you can say, Adam, you were right.
No.
Bad connection. I can't hear you.
No, I wouldn't do that. I can tell no. I would. And then just from the fact of just they are good within a good mana base. They don't make a mana base bad. They make a mana base more secure.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing. I'm not, I don't like running too many basics. I think there's a place and an amount for them. But I can say that I also don't like running too many colorless utility lands. Even in a 1-color deck, if I'm running like 15 colorless producing utility lands, it's too much.
Yeah, you can get screwed.
I'd much rather have ones that produce a color with a utility part of it, but running too many colorless utility lands can really hurt you. Doesn't mean they're bad. It just means you need to recognize like how many you want a deck. Me and you both are saying that we like around 10 plus or minus. And it probably depends on how many colors you have in the deck. So I think all of that, run your basics.
Right.
Don't hate on them.
In all honesty with it, it's not like the cards that do the damage to the non-basics and all that stuff. It's more of like people, if your play group doesn't play board wipe based non-basic stuff, that's fine. Maybe you're fine with that, but you might come across sometime somebody throws it in their deck like, I'm gonna do this and see what happens here. If all you have is base or non-basics, you're screwed. And that, again, going back to it, if you have your kryptonite is that you're only playing non-basics, I just throw the basics in. It isn't bad. Like, basics are in there just to save you. Like, if you get to that point where you have 10 non-basics out there and somebody plays a Wave of Vitriol, or there's more cards like that, you at least have an answer. You're not like, that's my game over. Like, because if that's your game over, that sucks. Like, that's just it's a terrible
sitting
terrible
around
way
waiting to die or have some sort of removal.
Yeah. And I mean, there's always something that, like, yeah, that's your game over, but to have it be lands just seems silly to me. So, when I get low, like, start cutting lands, I'm like, oh, this utility land, this is good, I should put this. And I'm like, I'm getting too low on those basics. I need to prop those up. So, like I said, my minimum is probably 9 of where I get at, but yeah.
I get greedy, but I know it's going to beat me up too. So
I should start playing.
Like, sometimes you just got to
back.
accept it or see where. So, like, because I think the other thing too is where are you expecting other ramp pieces to come from? Is it going to be rocks? Is it going to be dorks? Like in my Captain America deck, I'm going to be running more artifacts, and so I'm hoping that the land count doesn't hurt me terribly.
So this kind of goes back to our 2 episodes, or was that last week? The ramps,
it
rocks,
was last
or
week,
dorks.
yeah.
It's kind of along the same. I've been building a lot of decks lately, Lowery, so it's kind of getting in the mind there a little bit more of like, oh, this is more decks than I've ever fucking built in 1 year.
It's fun, isn't it?
In a month span, I have 4 decks down. This is nuts. It's crazy.
Hotness.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I didn't really. I mean, that was just more of a just talking episode. I didn't have a lot of notes on this one.
I'm good.
Okay, so if there's anything we missed, you guys, of some points that you guys thought with basics and all that, love to hear those in the comments. So please leave those there. Now it's time to move on to Stump the Smith Savant, and you did get stumped last week, right? Yes, you did. So we are gonna hit this little guy. It's time for everyone's favorite game show.
I know what it is. I just don't know the name.
All right. If you guys don't know how this game works, I am going to read the flavor text of a card, and Lowery is going to try to guess the card by asking yes or no questions. Every yes, he'll hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every no, he'll hear this.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
He gets up to 5 wrong guesses before he's considered stumped. He gets up to 3 clues. If he can get everything about the card but can't get what the card name is, he'll get the initials of the card. If he has a clue left over, he'll get a bonus clue, which should help give it away. Card has to be at least 10,000 EDH rec decks. You can enter your choices by either shooting me a direct message if you're part of the Discord, but if you're not, you can play along too. You can try to win some stuff here. You just email us at commandersmiths@gmail.com because Larry will not read that. He stays away from that so we can enter stuff there. Let's see. We got stumped last week. Oh, this week it is Chris. Our boy Chris is going to be trying to stump you. And for the fact that you finished your Captain America, or you did your Captain America deck last week, we're going to do Captain America proxy right here with the... Oh, that
John
one's not
Cena.
Wait, yeah, John Cena. I swear I had the comic book art one. Hang on a second. Hang on. One of us. Hang on. There we go. Captain America right there with the comic book art.
There you go.
So that will be up for grabs. Every 3 weeks, we add a card to the ante. So right now, it is a proxy, foil proxy. In 3 weeks, we would add a card. If we get to the 3rd round, so that would be week 7.
That's a big F.
We will have Ragavan, thanks to Tommy Olson's donation. That will be up for grabs. So please enter, because we're getting low. Like I said, we're getting low down there. I think that's about it. I eliminated the chat. Chat can play along to see if they can get it before Lowery. I think that's it. Okay, there we go. I'll show the flavor text here. You got 20 minutes. All right. Too stupid to survive, too dumb to die. too stupid to survive, too dumb to die. And 20 minutes starts now.
That feels like a goblin card. Feels very red. But also we're talking about like surviving and dying. More than likely it is a creature. So real quick, is this a permanent type card?
Hello, boobies.
Is it a creature?
Hello, boobies.
All right, let's first clue, please.
The art features a small undead being seen in the mines of Moria in a swamp. It's a type of being that you would see in the mines of Moria in the movie. I wrote this while I was I was all occupied, so I was like, I don't know. So now proofreading what I just wrote, and I was like, oh shit, I should have added this in there. So the art
Can you repeat that again, please?
Features a small undead being that you would see in the mines of Moria from the Lord of the Rings movies.
Undead being, so it'd be like an orc? Is that what it is? Orc or a goblin? Black or red? So that's the question, and it's going to be wide. Is this a goblin and or orc? Is it red and, well, let's go with that. Is it a goblin and or orc?
Hello, boobies.
There is one more creature type to it, so I'll give you that. There's
Okay.
two
Is
creature
it
types.
red and or black?
Hello, boobies.
So it's one of those things, not like another.
I was going to do that too.
More than likely, it's probably going to be a goddamn warrior again, because that's what I couldn't get last week.
Warriors.
Could be something else too. Let's go with the second clue. 2 minutes into this, just burning into
Yeah,
it.
you are. The text features self-recursion at death as long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard. The text features self-recursion at death as long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard.
Well, that's a good question. What?
It's a very long explanation for a very... Well, I'm not going to give that one. But
Can I hear it again?
the text features self-recursion at death as long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard.
So it's basically when it dies, if something's going on, it can come back into play, probably end a turn. A goblin or an orc is doing that? That seems, well, that definitely feels like a black card at this point, which probably probably makes it an orc. Are orcs undead? I guess they're kind of undead elves. Is that what they are? Can I hear the first clue?
The art features a small undead being that is seen in the mines of Moria from the Lord of the Rings movie in a swamp. Oh, I forgot that part. In a swamp. It's in a swamp. I don't think I said that the first time, maybe not, but it's in a swamp.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, it's in a swamp. Forgot that last part. I got to Moria and then I was done. But it is in a swamp.
Okay. So when it dies, something is happening, and if that something happens, or there is enough of this thing in there, so if you like gain life or have X amount of creatures die, or if there's a creature, no, that's like old school. If there's like a creature directly below or above it, that's like Alliance's level, but that's not happening. I mean, the swamp part puts me at Smeagol at some point, which is problematic. Oh. And he's not undead. Too stupid to survive, too dumb to die. I mean, that's kind of Smeagol, but shoot,
Well, you've already determined that it's either the two
right.
creature
It's not
types.
Smeagol.
Yeah, you've already determined what creature types. One of the creature
I would guess that this is. I think I gotta think of.
You probably need that third clue.
That's where I'm leaning, but I gotta think of basically reanimation creatures that I like, because I like a certain amount of them. It's not reassembling skeleton. That didn't get printed. I'll take that third clue then.
This card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks.
Yeah.
It was first printed in Modern Horizons 1, and really has only had one other printing in the list. And it's most seen in Gev Scaled Scorch. Do you know which one that is? It's a new one. It's a Bloomborough dude. And I can read Gev Scaled Scorch, and I would read what it does. Let me just pull it up. It is a lizard mercenary for 1 black, 1 red. His ward, pay 2 life. It's a 3/2, like I already said. Other creatures you control enter with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev Scaled Scorch deals 1 damage to target opponent. So that is the deck that uses this card the most, and it's from. Not Bloomborough. It is Bloomborough. Yep, Bloomborough is what that card is from, that commander. So again, this card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks. First printed in MH1. It does have a list printing, and that's the only 2 printings. And then most seen in Gev Scaled Scorch.
I'm gonna admit, I don't really know Dev. Everything you just said doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Second clue was the text features self-recursion at death as long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard. And then the art features a small undead being seen that you would see in the mines of Moria in a swamp. He is in a swamp. It is in a swamp. I don't know if it's a he. I just know it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's an it. We don't know. Oh my goodness. Let's just say this. I'm probably just slumping right now.
Slump Buster, you need Renshai to throw out some
I wasn't doing good before him, and I haven't done good after him.
So it's just right. We just need Renshai suggestions.
Yeah, he's just my slump buster. He's not even slump buster. He's just. Ah, my goodness. Okay. So we think it's a goblin and or an orc. If it's MH1, it's probably a goblin.
You have 0 wrong at this point.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Squee, but it's not. Black? Are we saying like a black goblin? It might be a red black goblin. Could be. I don't know what dev is. That doesn't help me. Can I hear all the clues?
It's Gev.
Everything.
With a G.
Gev?
Gev. G-E-V.
Gev?
The art features a small undead being that would be seen in the mines of Moria, also in a swamp. The text features self-recursion at death as long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard. This card is in 14,000 EDH rec decks, first printed in MH1, also seen on the list, and most seen in Gev Scaled Scorch decks, which is a new commander from Bloomborough.
I don't like it.
and I'll read what he does again, just so you can have that in your mind. Ward, pay 2 life. It's a 3/2 lizard mercenary, red black. Other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on them for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever you cast a lizard spell, Gev deals 1 damage to target opponent. You're under 10 minutes.
Frickin' blanking. Ugh, I might need to drink. Not tonight.
A little late.
Yeah, it's a little late. I'm not gonna get there in time. Is it? All right, let's try and start. Is this a goblin?
Hello, boobies.
I know it's red and or black, but I don't. We know it's a creature. We know that it's a goblin. We know that it's red and or black. It could fit in that commander deck. Either way, we know that it's coming back. What could be another creature type? Is it also a zombie?
You picked up
Hello,
on
boobies.
the undead part. That was the zombie clue. So it's a zombie goblin.
Zombly? Zomblin?
Hate those zombies.
Zombie? A zombie? A goblin zombie? I should be able to get there. I don't understand why I'm not getting there.
What's our color?
MH1.
Give me that color.
I mean, is it black?
Hello, boobies.
Way to weed it out with the zombie part, because I don't know if we have well, we do probably have a red zombie. Not very often. A goblin.
Not many. They have black in it, so I guess I should clarify. Is this only black?
Hello, boobies.
Okay.
So a zombie goblin black card. We need the text, power, toughness, and casting cost. You have no idea what it is. I know what it is. Nope, that doesn't apply.
I'm not even close. Yeah, I don't know. If I can just figure out how it comes back. A zombie goblin, I cannot think of what's going on with it. I mean, if it was
features self-recursion at death, as
Right.
long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard.
I mean, it probably has some sort of like, if a creature was dealt damage, or if an opponent was dealt damage or lost life or something. But I mean, I just can't picture it. It must not be super good. just enough to get over that 10.
That 10,000,
and
yeah.
probably just became a thing with Gev.
Well, the fact that it's a goblin and a zombie, it hits two like big tribes, so that might
and
be
it's
another
not
reason.
in there. Like this isn't a good card, so I'm not gonna feel bad.
Your record's gonna go down, and from 107 and 38, you're gonna keep racking up those losses, man.
No, I don't like it one bit. Jesus, 6 minutes left. Okay, I've been struggling for 10 minutes at this point. Is opponents losing life or taking damage involved in the text?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Is having a counter on it involved any way in the text?
Hello, boobies.
Stupid. I don't like this.
That was a good question. That was a good question there. I'll give you that. Let me read that
Does
second
it
clue.
have undying?
Wrong, 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 wrong.
Maybe persist.
The text features self-recursion at death as long as conditions are met at the time it hits the graveyard.
Does it persist?
Hello, boobies.
There you go.
All
They
right.
made it
I hate
extra
this.
tricky.
I don't know if I know this card, but I have. Is this a 2/2?
Hello, boobies.
It's clicking.
And it's a colorless and a black.
Oh, you get
Hello,
the
boobies.
initials. PG. P.
Yeah, this
G.
shit ain't gonna. I can picture it now. That's
4 minutes. PG.
oh, this is a common.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, boobies.
Fuck, I do not.
What's the G?
Goblin.
Hello, boobies.
What's the P? Porsche Goblin.
It's probably so. It's probably so. Is it persistent goblin?
No, it is
Wrong, 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 wrong.
How many wrong is that?
3.
2 or 3?
3.
3.
You got
Shit.
2 more.
PG. All right, something P goblin. This dumb. Fucking fuck.
It's a
Is
P.
there's a word
P goblin.
for the P goblin? Is there Pete? Pete? Is it a Pete goblin? Like a Pete in a bog? Pete bog?
Wrong, wrong, wrong,
18?
wrong.
Okay. I thought that was a good idea. I'm gonna give it to myself. Thank you, everybody. It's not persistent. It's not eat. It's perilous. Goblin. I don't know. One more.
Under
That
3
doesn't
minutes.
seem right. Yeah. I haven't looked at this card in like 6 years. Whenever it was printed was the last time I saw it.
I have a shit ton of them because I got a whole bunch of Modern Horizons. You helped me
Yeah.
open all those boxes.
Did. I know what it looks like, but that's a tough one.
Give me a P.
Perilous. I think that's the only perilous goblin.
Chris, you win, buddy.
Wrong, wrong.
It is
Nice.
All right, I should have gave a little bit more of a. I actually thought this one. I thought you might get. Would a P word with like smelling really bad help you?
Well, you did say P goblin a couple times. Is it piss? Was it piss goblin?
No, it smells really bad. With the P goblin, what would the P part be? If it smelled really
Petulant?
bad, P word.
Pubes?
How about
No?
putrid? Putrid goblin.
No, that's not it. All right. Yeah, putrid goblin. I see it now. Thank you.
Yeah. Good job, Chris. You got him. You got him. So, Chris, the winning continues. We're just giving away. Captain America Chris is coming to you along with your 30. He ordered, not ordered, he had his built up patron stuff. He has 30 relentless rats, or not rat colonies coming to him. So, that'll be joining your rat colonies.
30's a lot.
But yeah, you got a lot there.
30's a lot.
Yeah. So, good one there, Larry. You were close. You at least knew what it was towards the end. You just couldn't get the name. There.
It took a while, though.
Yeah.
It took a while.
It took like 16 minutes for you to actually click into your head, like, hey, I've seen this card. I know what it is, kind of, maybe, possibly.
Ugh. Nice one, Chris. That was a good one for sure. That was going to be tough.
Remember,
What
you
is
guys.
Gev? Can I see Gev at all?
Oh yeah. Boop.
Like I don't even know if I understand why it's here. All right, you can talk. I'll
Well, because when other creatures enter with a 1/1 counter, so he
Oh,
loses
so
the
it sets it off
-1
as a sack
-1
outlet.
counter. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He's not a lizard, but it you do a damage and then he can keep sacking and coming back in and all that stuff.
Okay.
So,
I get it.
yeah.
I like it.
But you guys, we need more entries, so please, if you're part of the Discord, just shoot me a message with your entry, and we will get you entered there so you have a chance to win. If you're not a part of Discord, make sure you email us at commandersmiths@gmail.com. We did have a couple videos last week. Was that last week I did my Storm Deck? I think, yeah. Last week I did my Storm Deck. Lowery did Captain America, so check those out. I have Black Panther, which is the heir apparent, which I'll probably be doing some point this week. So all the, well, we the only one we don't have is Captain America. Neither of us are building that. So fuck him. Just kidding.
What?
It didn't, or not Captain America. Sorry, Iron Man. Iron Man was the only one that we didn't do. So that is the only one it didn't appeal to us. So it's not that it's not a good deck. It's just we chose differently. So. All right, gang, that should do it for this week. We will catch you next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Suck up.
I love boobs. I'm talking tatas. I love boobs. I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs. Thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
All right, boom. Hey gang, the best way to support the Commander Smiths is make sure you slap that like button. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our online store, commandersmiths.com, where we have metal tokens, mugs, t-shirts, playmats, and more.